remember how to play that piece. It's been so long. It's almost like my fingers remembered it. That must be the muscle memory that they were talking about.
Well, not exactly. Let's take a closer look into how this phenomenon works.
What's just happened in our little scenario here is what most people would call muscle memory. Now, if you want to sound like you're in the know, then you should call it an automatic neural pathway. Now, to further understand automatic neural pathways, we have to take a closer look in the brain. As a human being, your brain is wired to make everything as simple and easy as possible. So your brain tends to take a lot of shortcuts with a lot of things that you do or see in your day-to-day life. These things could be easy tasks like walking, running, typing, riding a bike, or even more difficult tasks like playing a piano. See what I did there?
With all of its intricate pieces, this is what your brain looks like. But the two most important for forming and executing automatic neural pathways are the prefrontal cortex and the cerebellum.
Like most things, muscle memory has to start somewhere, which in this case is the PFC.
In the PFC, there are lots of little components that specialize in quite a few different things, but the two special ones in this case are the premotor cortex and the motor cortex.
Your premotor cortex is the part of the brain where you select each thing that you're about to do. Think about it as if you have a long list of things that you complete quite often, and you select it just like you're clicking on a file inside of your computer. Now, think about this file containing all the information that each of your muscles need to complete. Now, this is where the motor cortex comes in. The motor cortex sends all of this information onto the cerebellum. The cerebellum is a special part of the brain because it is a large percentage of the brain's power while only being 10% of the brain's mass. Now, the cerebellum is the part of the brain that controls things like breathing, digestion, and cardiac function, which is a fancy word for heart function. So the next time you have an opportunity, you should thank your cerebellum for keeping you running 24/7. Anyway, the cerebellum, using neurons, is always keeping tabs on where all of your body parts are at all times. That way, it can take all the information from the premotor cortex and the motor cortex and make it happen right when you want to. Now, as interesting as muscle memory is, there seems to be another kind of phenomenon that flies under the same name. And I would like to debunk it, because the two are not the same thing. While I was doing research for this video, it seems as if there was a second type of muscle memory that wasn't an automatic neural pathway. There are plenty of videos talking about muscle growth and calling it muscle memory, saying things like your muscles remember how they once were and are able to rebuild themselves back to the same that they were in half of the time. Now, this fact is true, but it has to be confusing plenty of people because this muscle memory and automatic neural pathways are two completely different things. The way this phenomenon called muscle memory works is as follows. When you take a close look at your muscle fibers, you will notice these things called satellite cells. These cells are interesting because they produce a thing called myonuclei. Myonuclei is produced when you put your muscles under a lot of stress. So you'll need these myonuclei to be produced to increase the size of your muscles. When you stop using said muscles for any given reason, let's say that you get sick, you lose motivation to go to the gym, or you have work in the way, your muscles will dramatically start to decrease in size.
Now, the good thing is that you can always rebuild your muscles, but only because of the already residing amounts of myonuclei in your muscles that you have already worked so hard to get.
You can get back to that same physique you were at very quickly because those myonuclei are still there. Not because your muscles remember their original size or anything like that. And the best news of all is that these myonuclei can reside in your muscles for at least 15 years before they start to die off. So even if you were all big and strong during your college days, it's likely that you'll be able to get back to that same physique 15 to 20 years later, in a way shorter amount of time. Now this really goes to show that this is a really big difference from our automatic neural pathways. I hope that you found this information to be quite useful, and if you did, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Also make sure to click that bell to be notified for every single new upload that I make. Now if you have any extra questions about these automatic neural pathways or these so-called muscle memories, go ahead and ask away in the comments. I check these comments every day, so I'll be sure to get back to you super quickly. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.